Okay, as far as the crossbar goes, here's what we're working with. So the steel bar that I got is 36 inches long. I just measured the distance from passenger side plate to driver side plate, and it's 33 inches. So I have 3 extra inches to play with to make the little zigzag and to make any curves or something like that. Let me grab the plate here. We'll set it up. All right. Okay, so yeah, to make the zigzag and the curves coming down, so I have 3 extra inches to play with. I've been told 3 inches is a lot, but hopefully I won't have any issues because I really don't want to buy another one or, well, anything together. So the plan is, I'm gonna make this curve or zigzag is I am going to notch, put a cut right here, not all the way through, so I'm gonna leave this end intact. So I'm just gonna notch just two sides, then I'm gonna bend it, and then on this side I'm gonna notch this top and then the back side, so that way I can bend it this way, and then I'll weld the seams together once I get it situated. And then to make these angles here, I'll kind of do the same thing, is I'll just cut the 2 sides, the front and the back, and then I'll bend it down and then get the angle I want and then weld everything together. And that way I'm not cutting straight through this piece, so I'm not welding 2 pieces together. It's still gonna be, you know, like one factory, I guess, or one piece on the sides here. So that should give it more strength, but it'll be strong enough anyway. Plus underneath I can add some supports from the bottom to make it even stronger. So yeah, let me get to brainstorming. So I'm looking at pictures of the Powertrix one and kind of trying to gauge when the bends start coming and kind of going from there. So let me do some thinking and some math. We'll see where we get. I am gonna start from the middle, work my way out. So I'm looking at pictures of the Powertrix and some of the other ones, and I noticed the zigzag starts right around where that, I don't know if you can see down in there, I think it's injector coil something. So anyway, that black box looking thing, square looking thing. So the bends start somewhere there, and then they also, when they come back down, this thing, whatever, what is that? I forget. Part of the valve cover, I guess. And then they also continue, the bend on this end starts here as well. So I did some measuring. So I've got the middle here, this left side, at 18. And so what I'm gonna do next is I marked where I'm gonna start the bend here. So I'm gonna cut a notch on just 2 sides, the top and this closer side, so that way I can bend this way. And then once I get that bend, I'm gonna notch that end and get that bend. And then I've got about 1.5 extra on each side. So that's gonna be my extra 3 inches that I have left over to work with. Hopefully it's long enough. You can do it, fellas. It is long enough. All right, let me get going. Here it is, boys. Look at that. And that was just all eyeballing. That came out pretty good, right? Not bad, not bad, not bad. Okay, next step is I need to measure or figure out where I want to notch this, because it's gonna have to come down and meet the plate here. And oh my god, I hope I have enough. I think I'm good. Yeah, so probably I was looking at the hood and where the insulation is, this up here, and I'm probably gonna notch it somewhere right here, and then it'll shit, I don't know, yeah, somewhere towards the end of the edge of the intake, and then it's gonna come down and meet the plate on each side. This one's gonna be a little more annoying because of that nub right there that holds the throttle cable. It's gonna suck, but we'll figure it out. That lines up pretty good there, and then this lines up pretty good there, right on the edge. It's looking good. So I got my marks where I'm gonna start the bends on the ends here, which is there and there, and this might take 2 bends, so I might have to, I'll notch this on both sides, bend it, and then depending if it meets or not, I might make another notch here and bend it down and then weld it all together. And same thing here, I might have to do 2, especially because that stupid bolt nub thing right there. So notch here, bend it, might have to make another notch, bend it down some more to meet the bracket. All right, let's do it. Here's where we're at with the bends. So because this is a little too long, I'm gonna have to remove the brackets and then finalize the bend, and then somehow work it out from there without cutting it too short. That's what I'm afraid of. So let me take the brackets off, and then I'll put this back on and see where we're at. Okay, here's where we left off. So I got the bends made, I put some grease on top, and then I closed the hood to see if it makes contact, and unfortunately it makes contact there and there, which is that spot and that spot. So I'm gonna have to make the bends bend it more so it clears that. And this, so the hood has, I don't know what you call it, like frame rails here, so there's really not much give, and I don't want to mess up the hood, and I don't want this thing jumping around, rubbing on stuff. So I'm gonna make the bends a little more dramatic, pronounced, whatever, so that hopefully it clears. And let's do it. So after test fitting this thing 100,000 freaking times, the driver's side I have where I want it. That's what the bend's gonna look like. Hopefully that bend is not too drastic. But yeah, so that's where we're at. And that should give me good clearance around this stupid throttle cable bolt right there. It should be good. Plus I have poly mounts, so the motor's not gonna move any. I mean, hardly any, if at all. Plus I got the torque brace there. I really had a hard time with this section here touching this, I guess, rail on the hood here. That's the part where I really had to make these bends and do all this weird stuff. That was the hardest part. But as far as the middle, that pretty much clears, no issues there. It's just that this part here, and I should have enough clearance between the coil pack and everything else down there. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna figure out how to get this measured and cut it and tack it to the plate. That's gonna be hard. Let me see what I come up with. Here's where we're at. We have finally figured out all the dimensions, all the angles. We got it cut. It's almost time to weld. Actually, it is time to weld, but this took so much trial and error to get these bends right, to clear that stupid AC line. It's hard to tell from this angle, but there's room. Come on, man. there's space, and plus I'm gonna zip tie this together, these two lines, so there'll be even more space. We got plenty of room here. My spacers. Got plenty of room here. Plenty of room here. Plenty of room here. And that's how we're looking. So, like I said, this took so much trial and error, but I was getting ready to scream. But what I need to do is tack weld it. I'm gonna tack weld it here. I'm gonna tack weld here in the slits that I made. Gonna tack weld slits here, 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 and tack weld that. And then once we tack it, we'll kind of finalize the shape here on the brackets, and then we'll probably fully weld it. And next is paint. I'm excited. So let me get my welder and stuff prepped. We're gonna get to it. Just some shitty tacks. I'm scared to fully weld this thing because it's gonna shrink. It always shrinks, and then it doesn't fit right. So I might have to find a way to maybe bolt it onto something. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, here we go. So the next step is to fully weld it, and then after that we're gonna do trim. We're gonna trim some of this off and then add another piece here, and then same thing to the other side. Okay, hope this turd fits. Let's try it on. Woo. Ah. Fuck. Guess I didn't learn the first time. Ugh, this part's annoying. Look at all this AC shit annoying. Well, yep, got warped. Awesome. But I was expecting that. Pain in the ass. Yeah, not too bad. Right? Hell yeah. Stupid. That AC thing's a little closer than I would like, but I think we'll be okay. Let's bolt this on. Make sure we can get it flush. Ratchet. bendy. Alright, let's take a look at the clearances. Good there. Okay, how about here? Close, but shit. That's a little closer than I thought. Oops. It's a little closer than I thought. This guy a little closer than I thought, but I think we're okay. And then that's fine. Stupid thing, I'll zip tie it. Yeah, we're good. Seems pretty solid, I don't know. Is that how it's supposed to be? Okay, so now let's work on welding those corners. That's gonna be interesting.